Yo, what is up, guys? Oh my goodness, it's been so long since I've made like a long form video, but I'm back. I'm freaking back, baby. Well, not really. I'm sorry. I'm only back for this video. I might take another break because, to be honest, guys, I've been really freaking busy with coaching all my students. Like, bro, my DMs are packed. I'm always doing VOD reviews, blah, blah, always working on the business as well. So there's just so much going on that I haven't had time to properly sit down and film like a proper, like a proper value video. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the exact concept of conditioning and how you can literally abuse it to mentally destroy your opponents and win over and over again. So before I even jump into the examples, let me draw a line here. Okay, this line that I just drew right here, right? This is your opponent's mental state at the start of the game. Okay, so let's say these are your opponents. I'm drawing some X's. I know, funny. But let's just say these are your opponents, okay? Their mental state is currently looks like this line, okay? They're not thinking anything. Their thoughts are blank, okay? After they start seeing information, right? That's when they start thinking. That's when they have thoughts, okay? So this is your opponent's mental state after you give them information. Now, most players in ranked, what do? They give them information that's actually valid and usable, meaning now these opponents can use this information that you just gave them to counter you, right? To counter you, to play around you. Be like, oh, there's 3 people B, right? So now let's go A. Or, oh, this Jet always peeks main. Let's hold for him and let's get a free kill, right? This is what counterplays look like, and counterplays come from good information that's actually valuable to the opponents. What we do when it comes to conditioning is we do the opposite. We give them information that's false information so that we can counter them by giving them false information. This is called conditioning your opponents. Okay, so how does conditioning actually work? Let me go ahead and show you guys the first example of conditioning your opponents if you're a duelist on defense, okay? I'm going to give you guys a few examples. We'll go over Omen in a second, but let's start off with Jet, right? Now, duelists are known for taking aggressive fights, even on defense, which is good, by the way. You always want to be challenging the main areas regardless because you want to take information, give information, and take, more importantly, space, okay? This is important because as a duelist, your job, again, on defense, challenge the areas, right? You see nobody, take that space. If you're able to get all this space, what happens? Then your entire team knows, oh, they can't be B, so now they can focus on mid and they can focus on A, right? Same concept applies if you're on A. You're taking that space, you see nothing, you take all the space. What happens? Your entire team understands, okay, they're not A, they can focus on mid and they can focus on B, right? So exactly the same concept. However, when it comes to conditioning, the idea is a little bit different. So how does it work, right? Let's say that you've been playing aggressive as Jet for the past couple rounds, right? You've been coming here, you've been taking some duels, you've been able to maybe kill one person, dash away, or maybe you don't get any kills, but you at least show presence, you throw a smoke down, or maybe you shoot some shots, you show some sort of resistance, right? You're giving these players that are here, these X's again, you're giving them resistance, and then you are getting away alive. Okay, so that's kind of the pattern that you're creating. What you're creating here is a pattern recognition, right? So what tends to happen is, let's say, I'm going to give you a brilliant example actually. Let's say 2 rounds in a row, you are aggressive. First round, blah, blah, you might get like 1 kill and then you dash away. Okay, the next round, you're aggressive again. Okay, maybe you get another kill or maybe you don't get any kills and you dash away. What you just did is create a pattern recognition. Okay, now the third round, you decide, I'm not even going to peek the main area. I'm just going to sit all the way back on it. Okay, let's say they decide to go A again and they see that you're not peeking, right? And they also notice that you're not anywhere here and they eventually find out that you were playing back here, okay, on site. What that does is it now creates the pattern recognition, it conditions them to believe that, okay, anytime you're fighting here, right, you're going to either try to go for a pick, blah, blah, you're going to dash away, but if you're not here, what do they think? They think you're going to be back on site. Okay, now you just created a pattern recognition in their head. You've given them some information to work with, but you are fully aware of the information that you gave them to work with. The way you'd abuse this information in later rounds is you'd not peek immediately and you position at an off angle. What this does is the moment that they realize that you're not taking this aggressive fight, they're going to let their guard down and they're going to start scaling up very fast. If you are still positioned in the same area but at an off angle, which means a little bit less out of their point of view, it'll allow you to catch them off guard with your positioning, and then you can simply dash away and you'll live to tell the tale. And this is a very easy way to start conditioning your opponents and then abusing that condition conditioning and getting away every single time up numbers. And we all know whenever you're up numbers, you always want to play back, play with your team, and secure the round. These are some strats that my students are currently following, which is allowing them to get the results that you see in my stories every single day. Now, of course, I could go through every single agent and show you guys in depth how to condition your opponents, but again, like, this is free value, so I'm just going to do 2 agents. But if you guys are interested in getting coached by me to your dream rank or your goal rank, again, links in description, links in the pinned comment, blah, blah, blah. Tons and tons of student results that you've probably already seen by the time you're watching this video. So yeah, go ahead and fill out that form below, and it'll basically guide you to the best program for your current situation. So yeah, I'm excited to work with you if you are interested. But anyways, let's jump right into Omen. So how can you condition the opponents to, worry about you as an Omen player? The first thing is you want to essentially condition with a go-to smoke, okay? So typically, unless your team is 100% certain that they're going to be full-on hitting B this round, or they're 100% certain that they're going to be full-on hitting A this round, you can essentially do something which is called a conditioned smoke. So for example, with Omen, you can always smoke off top mid. Now, it's very important, by the way, on Corrode, that you don't smoke like this. I see a lot of low elo players smoke like this, and then they wonder, how did I die? I had to smoke here, guys, because if someone's standing here, they can clearly see this angle, and you're just going to die when you walk up to this angle. So what's better is you always want to smoke like this, okay? Smoke like this, and it's going to block off the entire line of sight, so that way you and your team can actually take this space carefully and safely. Now, why do we want to do this smoke? Or sorry, how do we actually use this smoke to condition them? Well, it's pretty simple, right? At the start of your offensive rounds, you want to start calling mid splits, right? This works on any map, by the way, right? If you guys can abuse the mid areas of the map and you guys can like do splits, like, okay, maybe we do a B split through mid, or maybe we do an A split through mid at the very start of the game, if you're on offense, or just the start of the rounds of offense in general, if you guys can continuously split the sites at the start, what that does is it creates another I can't think anymore. My mind's like going blank. But basically, it creates another form of conditioning in their mind, right? They think that, okay, every time you smoke here, you guys are going to be doing a split, right? Blah, blah, blah. That's like the very basic level of thinking that most ranked players have, right? So you can essentially start abusing this smoke over and over again, even when you guys aren't doing splits. So for example, let's say you've conditioned them to believe that every time you go A, you do this smoke and you do this smoke, right? Normal people, most players in ranked will typically smoke something like this so that their team can easily get out onto site and have control, right? Blah, blah, blah. But let's say every time you guys do a split, you smoke mid, and then you maybe have one smoke for B, right? Like that, for example. Or if you're splitting A, you smoke here, and then maybe you'll smoke like, let's just say like here or here, blah, 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 right? So now you've conditioned them to believe that the only time there is a mid smoke is whenever you guys are splitting. So how does this instantly lead you into having a high impact round? You are forcefully conditioning your opponents to essentially give you a high impact round. Why? Because now, instead of only splitting when you smoke mid, you decide, okay, let me smoke mid and let's all go A as a team. So nobody goes mid. What this does is it forces the entire enemy team to be on high alert for mid splits, when in reality, nobody's going mid, and you guys have an easier time of winning the round, and you can even have someone late lurk mid once they realize that no one's mid and the smoke is faded. Right? So just overall, there's so many ideas that you can use when you condition your opponents to essentially believe whatever you want them to believe. And in this video, I kind of gave like deeper examples, but I promise you guys, it doesn't even have to be that deep, right? I went in depth. I showed you guys some like deep, psychological stuff, but in reality, it does not have to be that deep, guys. Like, I want to show you guys something too. I made a previous reel. I made a whole reel about this entire video that I just made as well, but I remember a while back, I talked about psychological positioning as well. This is very important, by the way, right? Now, it doesn't work on every single map, but I like to take Sunset as an example of this, right? If you smoke off top mid in Sunset, what tends to happen is if you continuously do this and you condition the opponents to believe that you guys are actually taking mid presence. So basically, at the start of a couple of rounds, you want to condition the opponents to believe, okay, we have a mid smoke, right? So they have to worry about the players that are mid, right? Blah, blah, blah. But then in reality, what you do is you use this to understand their psychological positioning. Most of the time, once you've created enough pressure in mid, what's going to happen? These guys are psychologically going to be playing more back on site, right? They're not going to be confident in challenging the main areas because every time they've challenged the main areas, you guys have had an easy time taking this site because you guys have pressure mid. Do you guys understand the psychology behind this? If a player has been, let's just say that the enemy team has been challenging these main areas, right? Let's say they've been challenging these main areas, but they've been losing because you guys have had all this mid presence and also had players going main. So these players are dying here in main, and then you guys are going through mid, and you guys are just getting these free rounds, right? You've conditioned the opponents to worry about mid. Now, what you can do is you can have a high impact round. How do you have a high impact round? Simple, right? You simply forcefully make the opponents have to worry about mid while you guys, none of you guys go mid. So basically it's like you smoke like here, and then you already know that the opponents are going to be playing more back on site because they've been psychologically rewired to worry about mid, right? So now you can have 1 or 2 high impact rounds where you call for your team, everyone go B, but I'm going to smoke top mid anyways because I already understand that if I throw the smoke down, they're going to have to worry about mid and they're going to psychologically play more back on site, which means it's a very, very easy time for me and my team to actually take the site. Right. So again, these are just some ideas, guys. It's not like these are the end all be all strats that you have to follow step by step, but I just wanted to kind of, in this video, break down how it all works and kind of just give you guys some ideas, right? Because the more ideas you have, the more you understand conditioning, the more you can play around with it, the more you can test run things, and yeah, the more it's, gonna help you out. So yeah, guys, hopefully this was very valuable for all of you guys, and hopefully, you guys, gained a lot from that. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, and yeah.